Okay, so the weirdness of Loki continues. So this is my Loki Season 2, Episode 2 review. And it starts off with, it seems like a time jump, because Loki and Mobius are looking for X5, aka Brad Wolf. And you see Brad, he has a full head of hair, which the last time we saw him, he had a buzz cut. So unless his hair grows really fast, it's been a while since they last saw him. And they're looking for Sylvie. And they figured that he knows where Sylvie is because he's a really good hunter, and so there's no way he didn't find her. Now, my question is, if General Dox wanted him to find Sylvie, what makes you think that she's even alive at this point if he found her? But anyway. So, I realize she's a Loki, so it's not going to be easy to kill her, but we don't know who this General Dox is either, so. Anyway, so they meet up with him at the movie premiere for Zaniac. Now, this takes place in the Sacred Timeline. So, does he not become the Zaniac killer in the Sacred Timeline, or is that why he was a variant to begin with? That this is where the Sacred Timeline branched off, is that he didn't become the Zaniac killer? But anyway, so he claims that, why don't we all have a round of drinks and talk about old times and everything. And then Loki just calmly asks Mobius, is he running? Yeah, he's running. So they take off after him. And of course, Loki catches him. And he uses this mobile teleportation device because, Loki's like, yeah, did you think you were going to get away from me? It's like, yeah, yes I did. And he teleports away. Or so he thought. So he runs into this alleyway where there's a bunch of people. Not the type of people that a seemingly pretty boy who looks like he's rich really should be going down. He doesn't want to be dealing with these people. And so it looks like they're going to attack him. And I'm like, okay, Loki, whenever you're ready. Because they need him to find Sylvie and Dox. And so getting the shit beaten out of him probably wouldn't work. And suddenly they freeze. I assume it's Loki's magic. Loki froze them. And he talks with Brad again. And let me just say, Hunter B-15 was the one who was able to take the temp pad away from him. And she's like, oh my god, it's Brad Wolf. They must have had so much fun filming this series. But anyway, I wonder if this is going to be the last time we see him. But anyway, so they take him back to the TVA. Well, first he mouths off to Loki some more, and then Loki uses his magic to make multiples of himself, including shadow magic. And he uses his shadows to grab onto Brad. And they take him back to TVA. So they take him back, and one of the hunters, I don't know which one, apologized about to Mobius about the way he was treated and Loki. He's like, I have no I had no idea that he's doing this. I don't know what to tell you. And it's like, it's okay, dude. Let's go talk to him and find out what's happening. He's not going to talk, because they figure he's not going to talk. It's like, oh, well, we're just going to have to wait him out. So they go in, and they're having absolutely zero luck in the interrogation room. No luck whatsoever. And so they decide to leave, and but before they went in, Mobius is telling Hunter B-15 and Loki to keep their cool because he's going to try to get under their skin. And whose skin did he get under? Mobius's. I mean, it seemed like he was getting under Loki's skin, but Loki just took a deep breath and was like, no, I'm not going to do anything. And, so, but Mobius does punch him, so that, or did he just slap him? Anyway, so they all leave. Loki's like getting Mobius off of X5, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I just seen that coming. So they leave. Now, like I said, does this mean that Brad is a variant of the Zaniac Killer, and that didn't actually become the Zaniac Killer? But we didn't find out the answer to that one. So, they're trying to figure out. Mobius is just walking, and they end up in this automat. And he wants a key lime pie. And so this time, Loki is talking Mobius down. Mobius is so mad. And what really got him was this, oh, none of this is real. I mean, you had a life on the timeline, and, aren't you at all interested in what your name was and what your life was like? And Mobius like, nope. And he's telling Loki that he hopes it's something bad, because if he had a good life, then it would just eat at him. But if he had a bad life, this is far preferable. So they just have a nice chit chat. And they're like, how are we going to get Brad to talk to us? And Mobius points out that he's the god of mischief. He should be able to think of something. So they do. And they bring in this huge ass machine. And apparently it's some sort of a torture device. But Mobius forgot the controller. And so he leaves, and Loki locks him out. So he locks him out. And right before this, OB was still trying to fix the time loom, which I thought they did that last week, which is why Loki isn't time slipping anymore. And he's like, oh, we're all going to die. So Loki and Mobius, well, Loki at this point, Loki is like, oh, what does this button do? Because Brad isn't being forthright as to whether he found Sylvie. And even though Loki was like, oh, what does this button do? He obviously knew damn well what he was doing. And because, that would just be, I realize he's the god of mischief, but his type of mischief is he has some control over it. because he doesn't want to get caught up in his own mischief. He wants to get to others. Which, oh, by the way, during his speech, trying to talk to Mobius at the automat, I just loved the way he explained the original Avengers movie. Oh, I was just mad at my dad and brother. I just found that hilarious. But so Loki is making this box smaller and smaller. So I'm having Marceau flashbacks here with the way the box is getting smaller and smaller that he's stuck in. And finally he's like, yeah, Doc's had this plan, but I ditched her. So, and they he still claimed that the temp pad was just to avoid being tracked by TVA, which then you did a very piss poor job because you were tracked by Loki and Mobius. So that made no sense. So he doesn't want to say why he altered the temp pad. But Casey figured it out. He knew that it wasn't what he was saying. And so he finally admitted that he knows where Sylvie is. She has a happy life, and that apparently was his reason for wanting to research his past, who he was, and to go back and relive his life. In his case, he was an actor named Brad Wolf. Now, it still doesn't explain why he was so close with General Dox, because the way she was caressing his head was just very weird. But anyway, so they make him go with them to find Sylvie, and the entire time he was like, "Okay, see, I'm not kidding. Let me go." And so Mobius is like, is this an ambush or something? Why are you so jumpy? So Sylvie is not thrilled to see Loki, which I don't know why she harbors such resentment to Loki, because, I mean, he was able to, I get she saved his life by pushing him through the portal. So even though they came to opposite conclusions, I don't see why the vitriol towards him. But she's not happy to see him at all. And Loki had a really good reason why he didn't believe Brad initially, because, well, she usually hides out in apocalyptic events, which this was not. Which is true. So he talks with her, and she is, not being persuaded. Loki is not persuading her. He's explaining about the time slipping and how he saw the future of the TVA and she was there, and he wants to know what's going on. And it's like, if this was your future, what makes you think Sylvie of present knows anything that you're talking about? I realize time travel is weird, but that just means that the two of you went to a future that wasn't that far into the future, because she looks the same. So, because, she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I would never go back. So then Mobius and Brad are watching this like a lover's quarrel. And they're like trying to figure out this relationship because Brad's like, they're different variants of Loki. What's going on? What? And basically implying that actually they might have actually said it that it's shouldn't surprise anyone that Loki would fall in love with himself because it's Loki. So they talk and then Brad told him something because Mobius is again. This really is an ambush, isn't it? He drags Brad outside. It's like Brad has something to tell us, and he's talking about Zaniac too. And Brad is still not wanting to say what is going on. And so Sylvie enchants him. She uses her magic and finds out that there are bombs going to be going off and destroying the branch timelines. That is Dox's plan. And the reason he messed with the temp pad, they found out later, is that the bombs are attached to the temp pad, that they're somehow connected. So, in order for him to move around without, blowing up wherever, whatever timeline he chooses to go to, he had to disable it. So, they go to where the machine is, where General Dox is having TVA agents go to these separate timelines to destroy them. Now, we don't see any of them coming back, so I wonder if it's a suicide mission. So she's sending them all off, and Loki and Sylvie try to try to stop as many timelines from being destroyed as possible. But apparently they only say, 3, 4? And they manage to arrest General Dox. So it makes me wonder, if next episode it's going to revolve around General Dox's interrogation and finding out who she is and why we know why she's destroying timelines because she believes in Kang's vision of the sacred timeline, which it's bizarre that they still refer to that as the sacred timeline when they all agree that people should be allowed to live their lives and branch off into all these timelines. So Sylvie comes back in and she sees that most of the timelines are gone. And she's like, I'm going to go back to my McDonald's. Hopefully it's still there. So she goes back. And, she's saying how evil the TVA is and everything. It's like, do you not see how the silence in the room? Everybody is like in a funeral looking at all these timelines that were destroyed. Hunter B-15 even said, all those people. So obviously the TVA is no longer evil. There are still evil people within the TVA, but that doesn't make the organization inherently evil. You're seeing that people are trying to protect these branch timelines. So it turns out her timeline is safe for now. And she's just lying on her pickup truck. And the kid that she initially spoke with, he asked her if she's going to come back tomorrow, which, wait, it looks like she's at the McDonald's and just looking up in the night sky, and that his mother's going to pick him up. So why wasn't she working? Anyway, so he asked if she's going to come back tomorrow, and, she says that she might. So we'll see what happens. So that's how it ends. And I'm trying to think if I skipped over anything. Hmm. Like I think I mentioned this earlier. I wonder if this means that we won't see Brad anymore because he's embraced his previous life and now he's able to go back to that life. Provided that, provided he has a temp pad that's been altered, so he won't be destroying whatever branch timeline he creates. Because, like I said, I think it's because he doesn't become the Zaniac killer is why he became a variant of the Sacred Timeline's Brad Wolf. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Um, oh yes, they've found Renslayer. And Loki finally mentions that, oh, by the way, I heard her and talking with He Who Remains. Because at this point, they don't know about Kang. And that they're a couple, that they've teamed up. And so Miss Minutes is helping Renslayer hide. So I'm sure she was helping her avoid being bombed all to hell. And so now it's a matter of trying to find her. So they're going to be looking for Renslayer next episode. And they're also going to have to deal with General Docs. You know, what she thought she was doing. And if they can get any more information out of her. And they also have to help fix the time loom. So yeah, they've got plenty of stuff to do. Interrogate Docs, um, save time itself, and find Renslayer. So the question is, which one of those three, or do all the three of those things happen in next episode? With that, I think I've covered everything, and now I'm just rambling. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.